Welcome to the Collective Experience by the Brown Girls Collective, a dynamic platform where we celebrate innovation, creativity, and the power of Black excellence. Each episode, we sit down with change makers, visionary industry leaders, and groundbreaking entrepreneurs across the worlds of fashion, tech, education, business, and more. This is more than just an interview series. It is a space where stories are shared, wisdom is exchanged, and inspiration flows. Together, we are building a community that thrives on collaboration, empowerment, and the drive to uplift one another. So get ready to meet these women redefining industries and shaping the future. This is the Collective Experience, where we take center stage.
Welcome to the Brown Girls Collective Experience, brought to you by Brown Girls Collective, your space for inspiration and connection. I'm your host, Jasmine, and today we're thrilled to introduce Sergeant Major Teresa King, a trailblazer and a history maker. Teresa King served our country in the United States Army with honor and distinction. Illustrious career reached a groundbreaking milestone when she was selected to lead the United States Army Drill Sergeant School, a prestigious position that shattered barriers and made history. As the first woman and the first Black woman to hold this esteemed leadership role, Teresa King exemplifies resilience, excellence, and an unwavering commitment to service. Her journey is a powerful testament to breaking glass ceilings and paving the way for future generations of leaders. So let's dive in and meet this amazing woman.
Major love to our sponsors for stepping in to make all of this happen.
Special shout out to Jason Sumter of Exit Realty. Call him for your home buying and financial needs. IAS Games for family and friend game nights. Out the Barns Entertainment for your video editing needs. Camera Guys Inc. for video photography and your editing needs. Intro music by Sedasia and music provided by Drado.
Your contributions keep us going and help us grow.
We have a little icebreaker that we're going to do in the beginning just to loosen us up a little bit. All right, so we're going to spin the wheel and we'll do it 3 times and talk about what's going on. So go ahead and let's spin that wheel. All right, so it says 50-50 or foot the bill or let them pay.
Let them pay.
Let them pay?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If you invite me, I'm assuming that you want to treat me to a good meal, and so.
Right. I'm
not paying.
I'm with that too. You ask me out, you paying.
Yeah.
All right, let's spin it again. Okay, so makeup or no makeup?
I can go with either or, but I prefer no makeup.
Yeah, I prefer no makeup too. Less hassle. But I used to wear a lot of makeup. I used to be serious about my makeup, but not anymore. I'm like, I could live without it. Yeah. Let's do it one more time. All right, so late nights or early mornings?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Why is that a tough one?
Because I like both.
Right.
I feel like I'm productive early mornings, but I like staying up late at night. So that's my quiet time. Because I have 3 dogs and a niece. And so when I stay up late at night, I get to meditate. And I get to talk to some of my other family members who are also staying up late.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not an early morning person. But I don't mind staying up late because I'm used to it. So, all right. So got to know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a little deeper.
Okay.
We're going to get into some of these questions,
okay.
Find out a little bit more about you.
Okay.
So So oftentimes we imagine ourselves as the person paving the way for others, but we don't imagine difficulties that may be associated with doing so. After all is said and done, do you feel it was worth it?
And well, thanks for having me, Jasmine.
You're
today.
welcome. Thank you for being here.
Well, I did 33 years in the military, in the Army. And because of the 30 years prior to that, I was chosen to lead the school. I feel like that as a Bible believing person, that every person has a job to do for our world to make it better. And I think mine just was just leading a group of men who a woman had never done that. I think that was my part to play. In accordance with Jeremiah 29:11, where God tells us that He has a plans for each and every one of us. And I think that I was built to lead at that time. And so I think that if a woman comes along and desires to do something, probably she's equipped to do it.
Right. For sure. I mean, whatever is meant for you is going to be for you. It doesn't matter who thinks they're going to stop you or be in your way. So I believe in that 100%. You're going to do what you're supposed to do and what God put you here to do, regardless.
Yes. If you have the courage to do it.
Right.
And I would say, just sitting here, when I look at the role that I was asked to play, I was a little bit uncertain about it.
Right.
And I had to spend a lot of time praying about it because I understood the impact of it, both during and after and in the future. Right. So my willingness to do it was to make sure that those who came after me were going to be able to do the same thing.
Right. So do you feel like the females that came in to drill sergeant school, well, not to drill sergeant school, but like that came to join the Army when you were training them, do you feel like you treated them the same way as the male soldiers? Were you like, a little bit harder on them because you knew what was going to be like their future, you know what I'm saying? Because you've already done all of that. Like, how do you feel like you treated those female soldiers?
Well, that's a very good question. Now, I was accused of being hard on them.
Okay.
And you know why? Mm-hmm. Because I held them to the same standard as the males. Right. And in a drill sergeant school, a drill sergeant is a drill sergeant. They're not a female drill sergeant.
Right.
And matter of factly, for training, we purposely don't refer to anybody by their gender. So every woman and every person had to meet the standard. Male, where you be male or female, you had to meet the standard at the drill sergeant school. And that's what I used to apply the standard on you, whether or not I allowed you to graduate.
Right. Okay. That's fair. I mean, as long as, okay. And I don't talk about this a lot, but I was in the Army as well.
Right.
So, I went to basic training. I didn't go to drill sergeant school. But, I think that I feel like a lot of the women NCOs or even officers definitely were, I feel like some of them, not all, were a little bit harder on the females in certain ways. And I think now that I look back at it, I feel like, it could have been taken as a good thing. Some of them were not necessarily doing it to, to help you succeed. But some of them were. And I understand that now that they were probably trying to, just help me and make me probably be a little bit stronger in my position, or maybe they saw something in me that, I didn't see.
Well, there's a lot of gender, based science that says that some things that women can't do need to be adjudicated, and I think it was. Also, there's a huge process that goes on before a person is selected to come to the drill sergeant school. Right. And by virtue of that, if you get to the school, that means that a full bird or a field grade officer has approved you to be at the school, and you've been chosen by your branch to represent them at the drill sergeant school. So any woman that make it that far is certainly capable.
Right. Absolutely.
Behind the scenes, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this production, and we couldn't do it without our amazing sponsors, advertisers, and crew.
The first woman commandant of an elite drill sergeant school says she was suspended from her position just because she's female. And it turns out she might have been right.
You had to face and overcome institutional bias like racism, sexism. What's your advice to women who feel they're being overlooked or undervalued in their fields?
Yes. So I was chosen first to lead that school at a critical time. And the time was we had begun to draw down in Afghanistan and Iraq. They needed someone to reset the school in terms of making sure that every person that went to the school were trained on certain tasks. Right. And we kind of sort of pushed back a little on the garrison type skills. I mean, i.e., being able to pass the warrior tasks and battle drills and things of that nature. And so we realized that we needed to go back to that so that everybody that went through the school and everybody that reported to their basic combat training unit, that they were trained the same. And so when they went out to the operational units, that they could take those soldiers and take them into combat, and those soldiers were successful. Right. Having said that, being selected as someone that's qualified to do that job, not everybody agreed with that decision, and they let their voices be known. So one half of my tour, I had no issues, but the other half there was, only because there was a change of command of commanders. One commander, allowed the voices that didn't believe in women leading that type of school to become louder than the previous commander. And so for those women that feel like they've been overlooked, I just think that their gifts will make room for them. And women are so strong these days. And we've had women to attend the Ranger School, to special operations, and certainly while I was a commandant, those women, they were chosen to lead men in squads as drill sergeant leaders, and that is a prestigious appointment. Just stays right along there beside mine as the commandant. So I would say women just need to know who they are, hold their own, and I just believe that they will be where they're supposed to be if they can just stand to be blessed, like TJ said. You're gonna encounter a little bit of drama and maybe a little bit of enemy territory, but if you can just hold fast, and I think it's an opportunity for you to grow and become that leader that you desire to be.
Right. I mean, you definitely have to, probably work a little bit harder, at least feel like you're going to have to work a little bit harder for your dreams to come true, especially in that type of position where it's male dominated. But like you said, I mean, as long as you do what you have to do, and you believe in yourself, of course, I'm sure, you're always going to succeed.
Yeah, certainly we know that based on the statistics with our military, that everybody hadn't, accepted that a woman can lead just as good as another. And I retired in 2013 when women could not lead major commands in combat. President Obama approved that in 2014. So our military is showing you that, they're about 50-50 of people who believe that a woman can lead, but they're trying to also lead the way and putting women in those positions that are previously male dominated. And yes, you're exactly right. Women do have to go at it a little bit harder. They have to be proven, have to give proof of their ability to perform a little bit stronger. They do. That's true.
Many women struggle with standing up for themselves in professional settings. What lessons have you learned about self-advocacy, and how can women apply them?
Yeah, so, well, the first thing is knowing who you are, knowing that you deserve respect, and knowing that you are a leader that's been chosen to lead that particular platoon or that squad or that organization, and that you owe nobody anything other than to lead effectively and treat everybody with dignity and respect. And I think keeping that in the forefront and keeping it professional, I think that you're going to be able to show them that you are strong and that you are someone that needs to be taken serious when it comes to leadership.
Right. Professionalism is important. I know we talked a little bit before we came on, and you spoke about women, doing things that probably they shouldn't, just to succeed with men and stuff like that. And that happens not only in the military, but just in professional settings, period. But I feel like that always dims your light, because nobody actually knows if you're actually good at your job or if you got that position because of the things that you did. So it's important to always be professional and make sure you do what you're supposed to do for that position regardless. And you may not get it the first time, you may not get it the second time, but you keep pushing, you're going to get it regardless.
Yes, I agree with you. I think focusing on being just a leader or being a soldier is probably the best thing you can do. And just, lack of better words, just keeping your head down and staying, just being serious about your job.
Right.
And when you leave your job, going home to your family, not trying to find friends at work, because that's not going to work. You're going to fail. But staying professional and finding that support, finding a husband or family members that's going to support you doing your job.
Right.
Because if you try to find those friends or try to do something differently than not be professional in your position, yes, you're right. No one's going to take you serious. You're not going to lead effectively, and you are certainly not going to get promoted.
Absolutely. So you spoke about subtle bias you face, like being disrespected in meetings. So how can you navigate such moments without losing sense of self-worth or professionalism?
Yes, that's a good question. So that actually happened to me in a professional meeting, and it was being video or televised. And at the same time, I was one of the keynote speakers, and they had called me to this meeting, and I had a speaking part, and they had me sitting way back in the audience. But at the same time, I had this serious briefing that I had to deliver, and it had to do with the ammunition that the students in the school received. And if I did not deliver this briefing effectively, it was going to be to where the student may not get all the opportunities that they could get in order to graduate from the school. In other words, if they failed the shooting part, we needed more ammunition for them to retake the test, possibly pass. Well, if I didn't get them this ammunition, they weren't going to have enough to pass the course. So this is what I had to focus on first. So I would say in the heat of the moment, in those subtle times when people try to disrespect you, stay focused, stay professional, advocate for your soldiers, because it's the bigger thing is to be strong enough to endure that for those soldiers that would come after you,
right?
For those soldiers that need you, and the rest of it will take care of itself.
Right. I like I said, just being in the military and you having somebody, and I'm just talking about you making sure that you're there for your soldiers and stuff like that. I really appreciate that, because there's a lot of, I got out in 2013. And there are a lot of people, and this probably doesn't only apply to the military, but just speaking about that because we both were in, that don't advocate for their soldiers or don't take up for their soldiers the way that they should, but they're in these leadership positions. Yeah. And I appreciate when people say stuff like that, and they have like those soldiers that, you know, that look up to them and appreciate the guidance that they gave them, or you know, just being that helping hand in those situations, especially as a female or a woman in the military, because there's not that many of us even now. I mean, it's more than there was before, but it's not as many as there should be, and you don't always have that that leadership to help you and guide you through. Yes. So I'm sure your soldiers appreciated you a lot. Do you still like have any connection with any of your soldiers or any of them?
Well, I'm connected with all of them. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason I have Facebook. But I got a little small story to tell you. Okay. When I was waiting, they had made a decision for me to become the commandant. Associated Press got hold of the story. They released the story. And they were the one to break the news that it had been 60 years. No woman had ever led that school. Mm. And so they printed it. And I had never looked at the notes of articles up under a story. Mm. And when I looked at the notes up under the story, they were bashing me, calling me all kinds of names, even soldiers. And I would go on, and I was really concerned about taking that position. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I had prayed about it. I mean, at that point, I had been selected, and there's no going back. And so I got the position. And let me just say this. I was in that job for 2 years and I think 2 months. Mm. Every day it was something. Mm. Someone's trying to disrespect me, or someone trying to curse me out, someone trying to set me up. Mm. But I had soldiers that needed equipment. They needed better working conditions. Right. They needed better computers. Mm. They needed to be listened to when they was going through their own family challenges. When they were sick, or they just needed someone to talk to. Right. And I figured that if I can just make myself available to them, mm-hmm. perhaps their time as drill sergeants can be good. Because I knew that they were going to be command sergeants majors just like me, and they were. I figured that if I could do that for them, make myself available for them, they were going to be successful. Right. And so I think as leaders, sometimes we don't need to worry. We worry about ourselves too much. Mm-hmm. But I think if we can just, just put them first, as Jesus did us, that I think that we can be more successful. And I think regardless of what happened when I was the commandant, I know that I was successful because my soldiers were successful.
Right. Yep. That's important.
Yes.
That's important, right? So you said in previous interviews that you hope your story will inspire others. So how can women turn their own challenges into a source of inspiration for others?
Yeah, so what I went through, nobody should ever have to go through that. Matter of fact, my enemy shouldn't. Most certainly a woman. I think I was called to do that because somehow, through prayer, I got through that. Mm-hmm. But 12 years I fought. 12 years I fought it. And I was successful in overturning it. But it was hard. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I was built for it from the time that I was a little girl working on the farm, coming into the Army. All the assignments that I had been given, airborne assignments. That was not my first woman job. I was a paratrooper at Fort Bragg. I did some hard jobs. I was at the Pentagon doing some very distinguished things for our government. Mm-hmm. And so I think that if you can just use all your experience and know that particular situation that you're enduring, and this was a hard situation. This was a wilderness, no doubt. That if you can just take it all and put it all together and try to keep yourself together and see the people who would come behind you,
right,
and look to the future and look to leave some type of legacy that's going to inspire people, I think you'll get through it. And so with that said, I think women, if they would do this, know who they are and know that God had called you for this appointed time, that I think that you're going to be successful.
Right. So I do want to ask this, and I feel like I should have asked you this earlier. So, but like, what was there like a specific thing that made you even want to join the military? Like, what made you join the Army?
Yeah. Right. So, I aspired to go to college, but we was poor.
Right.
We had no money, and so they have the recruiters come around the schoolhouse, and I was not gonna let farming be my life or stay in that rural town in West North Carolina. I wanted to make something of my life, and I knew that if I was gonna do that, I had to leave North Carolina, and that's what I decided to do. And I said, I'll do 3 years or 4 years. And when
everybody does.
Yeah.
I'm only going to do 3.
And when I did that, it was so easy, and I enjoyed it. And it was, I did so many wonderful things that first 4 years that I kept re-enlisting. And before I knew it, I was a careerist.
Yeah.
But I think I was called to do that, but the military made sense for me because we had no money.
It was your way out.
It's my way out of rural North Carolina, and I go back and visit, but I'm never going back to stay.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So, what's one piece of advice or wisdom you would share with the next woman stepping into this space, and what's one question you'd love to ask her?
Yes. Can you stand to be blessed? Are you ready to handle the good and the bad? Are you ready to make history in your own world, for your own path? Are you ready to lead people?
Right.
I asked more than one question.
That was a lot. But that's okay. But so just to follow up with that, I just wanted to ask, so like, do you feel like you was ready for that position when you started, or did you have to kind of like gear up for it?
Of course. I was the most qualified person to be in that job, no doubt.
Right.
Now, were other people ready? No. I think that our military could have did a better job of putting me there and helping me with the people who were not sold on it. I didn't do a good job preparing that. But the job was easy. It was the media and the people who didn't appreciate it or didn't like it. That was the hardest. Right. And trying to stay in the middle of the road and get the mission accomplished, that was very difficult.
Right. So do you have any advice to give any woman that might be ready to do something like what you did?
I would say get in a good relationship with God. Do not take a job unless you know for sure that you're called to do it. Make sure it's something that you love and something that you would do if you weren't even paid to do it. And be ready to face adversity. Right. And see if you can make some lemonade out of some lemons.
Right. Absolutely. So, Major King, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. So glad that you came to speak with us. I can't wait to talk to you, get some more later. But it's been great being here again. I've been missing y'all. Make sure y'all come back. Tune in to BrwnGrlz. You have any final words? No? Okay. See you later, BrwnGrlz. Thank you to our advertisers, sponsors, and everyone who made it possible. And of course, thank you for tuning in and being part of the BrwnGrlz family. See you next time.
Oh, girl, I love you just like Mary Jane. I give you everything. papers in my section and some fonts in the tuck. She been calling me Spliff Daddy, baby. Please don't gas me up. You can keep your mask. I don't want time with that. Tryna know your heart by the time we start, baby. Ain't no hiding facts. Maybe if you with it, we can start a tab. Break down them walls, you can let me in. I can be your quarterback. Come on, put our team right on the map. Oh, girl, I love you just like Mary Jane. I give you everything. Damn, I hope you feel the same. Come and make it better, just like Mary Jane. Oh, girl, I can't complain. I need your touch, can't get enough. Come and beat me up, it's just like Mary Jane. Oh, girl, I love you just like Mary Jane. Oh, girl, I love you just